All right, guys, back again. Tre Mars with Inside the Vibes. This is Lena Jackson right here.
What up?
Yeah, how you doing today, Lena?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, man. I see Lena just actually performed here at Local 506, open for Mickey Factz. Had a wonderful set. I love the lyricism. I've seen you live a couple of times, but I think I got to really embrace it this time, because I was more focused on the show. A lot of times I'd be like marinating, going around places and stuff. But yeah, I definitely got to check it out today, and I definitely enjoyed it. So Lena, what city are you from?
I am from Raleigh.
Raleigh, North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised. Everybody born and raised here. That's cool though. So how long have you been making music?
Creatively, I've been making music probably about 10 or 11 years.
Okay.
Like professionally, as far as platforms and things of that nature, probably about 4 or 5.
Okay, that's dope. So that's dope. You've been making music for about 4 years. What artists have you been listening to that kind of was like, you know what, man, I know I can do this? Like,
you mean like coming up? Stuff like that?
Either way, how about this? Better question. Growing up, like what artists were you listening to that led you to the point where you're like, I think I could be making music like this?
Oh yeah. Like right off the bat, I would say Outkast and Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah.
They had so many different like cadences and harmonies,
Yep.
and I mean it was just so much
Yep.
going on, and I felt like if I could master what they created as
Yep.
a fan, then
you do it yourself.
I can create myself and
That's cool.
yeah, just build off of that. So those were like 2 really big influences coming up, and then the MC Lyte, Queen Latifah
Female,
influence.
yeah.
It kind of like made me feel like there was a door that I could go through. I could go through because
I can see that with Bone Thugs, like, 'cause you was up there rapping a little fast for a little bit. I saw that. That was cool, and you held your composure the whole time. You were stable, like you looked like you deserved to be on the stage. You know what I mean? So as a female rapper in the game, like you feel pretty influenced by other female artists and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, well, I'm influenced by the moves that they make.
Yeah.
And I'm motivated by the moves that they make,
Right.
because it's one of those industries where we've always been involved. We really have.
I agree.
We've always been involved, but we haven't always been on the forefront.
Right.
At least not multiples of us. A lot of times it's just like one comes through.
Yep.
And then there's another come through a few years later, and then
Exactly.
it's almost, it makes it look like we're kind of like disposable almost. But
Okay.
we're here, and so
I understand.
to see more and more women just kind of assert themselves and put themselves out there, it's like,
I think this is the time now for women to really get to the forefront, man. I mean, I think women are definitely spokespeople of our culture. I think they have the emotions, they have the values. I mean, we got some rappers out there right now doing it, and I mean, we got some really good rappers around this area that I could really see taking it to the next level. Like I said, as a female artist, better than some of the male artists out here. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely can see you taking it to the top very soon.
thank you.
Yes, no problem. So your last album, what was the name of your last album?
Well, I had an album called Darkness Brim.
That was your solo album.
Yeah, that
but
was
you
my
did
solo album.
The one with
and-
G Huff.
Right. And then most recently, which was in the end of September, me and G Huff, we dropped a collab project together. So
You said he's from where, by the way?
he's from Youngstown, Ohio.
Ohio. Okay.
So we dropped Grace and Alchemy, and that's what we've been pushing. And it's been, I mean, it's only been a short amount of time, but it's been a dope ride already.
Nice. I like the journey.
Yeah. So.
Because it's a journey, you gotta keep taking it further. I think it's real good to market yourself, get your brand where it needs to be, so those people can really start seeing you. I really, like I said, I really do think you have some potential. I will be listening to your album. That one's on Spotify, Apple Music, and everything. Definitely.
Yeah, we're on everything.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna check that out also. That's cool. So when do you think your next one's gonna be coming out?
Next project?
Yes.
Shoot, I don't know. I'm always creating.
Right.
And since G Huff and I have like started collaborating, like we're both like always creators too.
Yeah.
So we kind of threw it up in the air as far as what we were going to do after Grace and Alchemy. But right now, that's the focus. You know,
Right.
focus is on Grace
Push
and Alchemy.
that.
Yeah,
Get it out
push
there.
that. We're gonna put all into that.
Yeah, get it overseas. You know, let
yeah.
everybody hear it.
Yes,
Don't care.
absolutely.
Not about just the local stuff. You know, I think now is the time, especially like it's 2020. Look at that as like the vision year. You know, 2020. Like I think that is a very good time for us to really like take this to the next level. I've been telling everybody that North Carolina, we have an eye on us right now. You know, we're being looked at, and I think now is the time to kind of regroup, get ourselves together for the next year. You know, next year's gonna be good.
Yeah. So you know, with him being from a different region and myself being from a different region, like that helps too. You know, because he's got a developed base, and you know, we just kind of it's like, you know, Wonder Twins activate.
I like that. Okay. Yeah, I got one more question for you then. So, what would you say you would want the newer generation of people coming up, because you know they're a lot different than who we are. You know, their minds are very open now. You know, they're doing things that we weren't doing back in the day. What's some advice you would give them to kind of make sure that they stay at that level that they need to be at, rather than kind of diving into rabbit holes of things that don't serve their highest good, if that makes sense?
You mean in music or just in general?
Anything now. I mean, we can tie it into music since this is a music interview, but I mean, you know, all right, I'll change it to, you know, musical artists, for example, right? You know, there are a lot of musical artists who are tapping into different genres. You know, they're trying to understand who they are as musicians. Yeah. You know, and I know that you've came up through that. You know, you were born through the 90s, you've been there through the 80s, you know, and you're here now in the 2010s. So, you know, a lot of kids are still young. You know, they don't know about a lot of the Tupac and Biggie and MC Lyte and Queen Latifah, unless they are those kids that dive into it, which, you know, you still see those kids that do that. But, you know, some of the kids that aren't doing that, they're just like, I see a lot of kids like, man, I just saw this beat, and I just started rapping, and I used to sit at the cafeteria with my kids back in the day and make beats and rap, but don't really got that 90s or 80s or 70s inspiration, you know? So my question would be, what advice would you give them to help them stay on track with who they are, even though they might not be influenced by the past? They might be influenced by the now, which is completely different, but we got to understand that we have those roots. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think of a really good question in terms of that. You know, what would you do to give them advice on how to understand where they come from?
What I would say is, because I actually continuously work with youth, and it's something that I'll continue to do regardless. What I always tell them to do is to study. Studying doesn't mean that you accept everything. It just means that you are opening your mind to more information. So, you know, learn some of these people that, you know, they're vaguely familiar with. You know, they familiar with Biggie and Tupac because they see a movie and things of that nature. Right. But study them. You know, study some of their subject matter. Study some of their cadences and deliveries and stuff like that. And you know, not saying they have to pick that up, but it's information. You know, it's information, and you know, you can see if it benefits you. If it doesn't benefit you, you can discard it. But just like with anything, you know, it benefits us to learn more about what was, and that just kind of guides us, you know, for the future if we choose to use the information or
learn
not.
our history and all
that. So that's really what it is. You know, it's like learning your history, and then it's like, what are you going to do with that information, if at all? You know, what I'll say is that these young people are different, but they're still very intelligent, and they still got they still have those roots. And you know, even some of the stuff that, you know, like you ask them who Bone Thugs and Harmony is, and they may not know. Right. But what are they doing? They rapping and singing. You know, and I hear it.
Just kind of how that was back in the day.
So you know, it's like it's different, but it's still very similar, and that root is there. So just imagine if they were to actually hear that, and it's like, oh shit,
ooh, that's what it was.
That different, like, you know, like I can do this, you know. So you know, I try to motivate them like that. I never, you know, say, you y'all ain't talking about nothing and
You're
stuff
not
like
an
that.
old head, right? You know, there's a difference between old heads and OGs.
Right.
Old heads be like, man, you ain't even on nothing. OGs, let me show you something. Let me show you something, young blood.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. All right, well, like I said, I'm here with Lena Jackson. My name is Tre Mars with Inside the Vibes. She just killed it at a local 506. I'm gonna check that album out. Make sure y'all check that album out. Name them for me.
Grace and Alchemy. That's the one that we on right now. So.
Grace and Alchemy.
Yep,
Yes,
absolutely.
that's the one. Grace and Alchemy. Her and G Huff. That's what they're promoting.
G Huff, Lena Jackson, Ohio, North Carolina, man. That's the deal.
I feel that. All right, well, we out. Thank you.
All right.